All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachaha Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the Akim teaching about the mind why mop. That's the sincerity and truth. Shalom. It's Great Millstone, Dallas. I'm Yatzazak. I got the priest Anah with me. And Lord willing, we're gonna give an edifying lesson, man, going back into the series of the book of Judges. Now we on chapter 3. And we had the last two lessons was pretty much an introduction to this time period. So now we're about to get further into it, and Lord willing, we'll be able to explain what was going on back then, showing an understanding and being able to relate these things to today and how they work. You know. So without further ado, if you got something you want to say first, we can go ahead and jump on it.
Yeah, let me put a scripture up real quick. This precept real quick. Psalms 106. Because basically the history that we're reading, or that we're about to read, and that we've been reading, is stated all throughout the scriptures. Like when you read about the prophets, and when you read in Isaiah and Jeremiah, so on and so forth, the prophecies talk about Israel going off against the Most High, Israel, going or whoring after other gods. These accounts that we're going into, that we're about to go into, and that we've read, are the accounts that these prophecies are talking about, right? And so I just want to get this quick precept real quick, and this is in Psalms 106, okay? And I'll start at verse 34. This is Psalms 106 and 34. It says, "They did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them, but were among the heathen and learned their works." And yep. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. And but were mingled among the heathen and learned their works. And you know what?
Look up that word mingle. Yeah.
That's it. Yep. Okay. Strong's H 6148. I rob. Okay. I rob. It says to exchange, to pledge, to engage, to occupy, to mortgage. Let's see here. Basically, we made agreements and exchanged each other's daughters and sons, exchanged pledges to have fellowship with, right? To intermix. Here we go. All right. The primitive root means to braid. If you braid and you got three strands of, combining them all together, intermix. You know what I'm saying? Let's see here. Engage. Yeah. So basically, we intermixed amongst the heathen, man.
Yep. To fellowship.
Yeah.
It's to have fellowship, to share. You're supposed to get rid of everybody to avoid that. You see what I'm saying? When you fast forward today, you fast forward to today, you got Israelite camps, people that know they Israelites, got their fringes on, claim they following the laws, doing all these things, but they got fellowship with the heathen.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Trying to make their numbers bigger or whatever they're trying to do, but having that fellowship with the heathen, the Lord was like, look, just get rid of everybody. So get rid of everybody, meaning kill everybody and kill everything that they got. You fast forward to today, it just means stay away, to be separate, to be holy. You see? Yeah. You quick to tell everybody that you're an Israelite, but you mixing and mingling with everybody. And you seeing the results. And that's why the Lord sent the judges. The Lord put the spirit on a certain particular judge every single time to look, man, we're not doing that. We're not dealing with that. No. Look, separate yourselves from these people. You see? But you seeing Israel being disobedient back then, you seeing Israel being disobedient now. Because our king ain't here. Our king, who we believe, King Masha, has come and gone. You know what I'm saying? Since this truth came about under Elder Abba. You see, it was Elder Abba Bivens who taught King Masha, Elder Yaikwab, Elder Ariyah. You know what I'm saying? Who trickled down to our apostles, starting with Apostle Elder Tahar. You see? So technically, through the spirit, Apostle Elder Tahar, Apostle Elder Gabar, Apostle Elder Rakal, Apostle Elder Aramla, they the judges
Yep.
in this particular time. You see what I'm saying? So as you see, as we get through these chapters, chapter by chapter, you're gonna see how Israel will get comfortable, and then they will get judged, and then they will be repentful, and then it was just a never-ending cycle. But we at the time now where the cycle is gonna end with that. You see, once the Lord come back, the judge, we're gonna have our king back. You see, so you see that judges came before the kings. You know, so now that we don't have a king on the planet physically, you see that the physical judges of Israel. You know, go ahead.
Go on. Yep. It says in verse 36, and they served their idols, which were a snare unto them. Yep. It says, yea, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils. And that's what's going on even to this day, man. You know what I'm saying? These abortions, and I don't know if you can say that word, but
hey, if they clip the video, that's on them, not us.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Basically people don't look at it that way, but they don't realize that was a practice that was going on back then. Sacrificing, for the sake of your life, to make sure that you have put yourself in a better financial situation in life. Hey, that's the ancient pagan ideology, man. That basically comes from the heathen that our people have adopted even into this very day. Like the elder mentioned, and we're gonna get into the to the book, the chapter shortly. But like the elder mentioned, and we are living in those times where we can correlate a lot of what happened back then to now, because our people, hey, that which is written before time is written for our learning, written for our knowledge. And the scriptures also say in Ecclesiastes, there's nothing new under the sun. So there's repetition in a lot of these instances that we're reading here. And just keep in mind, as we're reading this chapter, that this was going on all throughout. We showed those maps last time, right? Of all of these different cities throughout Israel. Okay. This was going on all throughout Israel. So there's a reason why the Lord led Israel into captivity, as we're about to read. And I'll read this last verse 38, and then I'll get back into Judges chapter 3.
And also keep in mind, when the brother put that map up and you see all them different territories, that's what I'm saying. You got camps everywhere.
Yeah.
Think about it like that, spiritually. You see all these different, I would say you got Manasseh, you got Gad, you got Issachar, Zebulun, you got all these territories. Just think of that as the U.S. map with a camp in that area.
Yep.
And people doing, and Israelite camps are doing whatever they want to instead of doing what they've been instructed, And then you got the judges in all those areas. Everywhere you got a Great Millstone camp, you got an ISUBK camp, you got an IUIC camp, you got a Sakari camp, and so on and so forth. You see, and all these camps that's doing that are not doing what they've been instructed to do. You seeing that back and forth. You see, just like Romans 11 and 28, it talks about the Lord put Israel up against each other for His sake.
Mm-hmm.
You got it.
Kind. I'm going to finish this in Psalms 106 and 36. It says, in 38, it says, and shed innocent blood. Okay, so to talk about how Israel served the idols of these Canaanites, sacrificed their sons and daughters to unto devils, unto demons, okay, unto these idols, and they shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and of their daughters, whom they sacrificed unto the idols of Canaan, and the land was polluted with blood.
And I would say Jake not technically giving their sons over to idols as far as having them sacrificed and burning them and doing all those things like they was doing back then. But that's what I'm saying. You allow. We were just talking about it in the chat how we've been put in a position to where our kids are raised by these tablets and raised by these TVs and raised by all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't have time to just be with them like that. That's a part of the captivity. You know what I'm saying? So when you have a young child and they being raised by a tablet or they being raised by TV, look what's on the TV and on the tablet. It's all things that'll get them destroyed. You know what I'm saying? But they get addicted to it. So you might as well sacrifice your child. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, we got faith that we can do. We got to raise our kids to the best of our ability. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Raising your kids nowadays is damn near like trying to keep the laws perfect.
Yeah,
you do the best you can, and then grace and mercy is gonna take care of the rest.
Okay.
You got it.
Yep. So it says the land was polluted with blood, man, which that's pretty much what's going to happen to this place. Is the same thing that happened to us when we were in Israel. We got judged. Well, we got judged here. We got judged here, man. We're still getting judged, but that vindication is coming soon. All right. So this is Judges chapter 3, verse 1. It says, let me go to the King James, reading the King James. All right, it says Judges 3 and 1. You can see the title here. Idolatry leads to servitude. Okay,
man.
So it says now these are the nations which the Lord left to prove Israel by them, even as many of Israel as had not known all the wars of Canaan. Yeah. So basically, the new generation, as we read in chapter 2, that pretty much raised up after Joshua, and the elders of Joshua's time had passed, they were pretty much born in the land. There was a new generation of Israelites that, were dwelling in the land, and they didn't know all the wars of Canaan during the time of Joshua, right? And so the scripture said the Lord left them in there to prove Israel. The Lord left them other nations in there to prove if Israel will follow the Lord or not. Okay?
That's what's happening today.
Yeah.
You see, you got Israelites and Israelite groups that don't have a thorough understanding of our past. Mm-hmm. It's all about fringes and whatever else they got going on. You see? But then you got that remnant that know about the history, which is why Call Halal Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, the spirit has been on us to go into the history, to be able to correlate these things to today. Because that's what the whole thing is about. Romans 15 and 4. I go to that one. That's like my go-to. You know what I'm saying? Romans 15 and 4.
Yeah.
Let's get it. Yeah, let's get it. But the thing is, you gotta understand that all these going back into the past, I would say you gotta understand the history to understand the mystery, like the Apostle Elder Gabar always say. You got it.
Yep. This is Romans 15 and 4. It says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
Look up that word aforetime.
Okay. Yep. Aforetime, Strong's G 4270. Prographo. Sound like program, really.
Let our slaves say it.
Okay, yeah. He go.
Yeah.
Prographo. Okay, Esau gonna say that Greek right. So it says, to write aforetime, to set forth before ordained. It's a compound word, so it doesn't come up a whole bunch of times, but it says to write before of time of old set forth or designated beforehand in the scriptures.
That's what I'm saying. So we read in the Old Testament. We go on into the history. These things were written so we can know what to do when these things come upon us, right? To depict or portray openly, to prophesy, right? To write before the eyes of all who can read.
Man,
you see, this is what we've been commissioned to do. This is our duty. This is our job. This is our occupation, right? To depict, portray, paint. You see, so when we go back into the history, the reason why we correlate it to today is because that's how the understanding is brought forth. You see, you got it.
Yep. That was it on that word there. Let me see. Did we read the whole chapter? The whole verse. Yeah, that was the point on the Romans 14. Romans 15. Mm-hmm. So going back here to Judges 3. All right, I read verse 1, verse 2. It says, only that the generations of the children of Israel might know, to teach them war, at the least such as before knew nothing thereof. meaning that again, Israel, the Lord wanted to teach the new generation of Israel a lesson, man. Uh, Jake always wanted to be that generation that gets away, that basically got it easy and didn't really have to work too hard. You know what I'm saying? But the Lord, hey, he wasn't letting nobody slide, man. He didn't let the generation that was in the wilderness for 40 years slide. He didn't let that generation that was born in the wilderness, uh, you know, that was born in the wilderness, that was under the age of 20. He didn't let them slide. They had to be on point, otherwise they wasn't gonna make it. And then when Israel got into into the land, that next generation after that, they didn't get no passes, man. Right? So the scriptures say, hey, the Lord said he changes not, man. He's not a man that he should change, right? So it says only that that the generations of the children of Israel might know, to teach them war, at the least such as before knew nothing thereof.
Now this is happening spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you got it.
Con. Verse 3 says, namely, 5 lords of the Philistines, and all the Canaanites, and the Zidonians, and the Hivites that dwelt in Mount Lebanon, from Mount Baal Hermon unto the entering in of Hamath. Right? So going back here, you got Philistines, Canaanites, Zidonians, Hivites, right? I think it was this map. Was it? I think it was another map that I used for the yeah, here we go. This bad boy right here. The Hivites up here at the top, you see that. The Canaanites, Perizzites, Hittites. So all of these, different ites here, which were all under the category of Canaanites, here in the bold on the left, and the Philistines as well. They were left, pretty much scattered in these different cities to test Israel. Okay. And it says in verse 4, and they were to prove Israel by them, to know whether they would hearken unto the commandments of the Lord, which he commanded their fathers by the hand of Moses.
I was like, that ain't no different than having GMS Dallas, GMS Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? The elders and apostles up in New York. You know what I'm saying? Chicago, LA, all these different states. All these different states, you got Israelites scattered amongst those states, commissioned to teach the truth. And then you also got other camps in those states that don't do that. You see? So it's the same concept. It's the same concept. You got all these different areas where you got Israelites that's doing what they're supposed to do and Israelites that's not doing what they're supposed to do. And all this is playing out in front of the heathens that we scattered amongst. Go ahead.
I got this preset real quick. All right, this is Isaiah 33:14. It says, the sinners in Zion are afraid. Fearfulness hath surprised the hypocrites. Who among us shall dwell with the devouring fire? And who among us shall dwell with everlasting burnings? You see? And Zion, of course, represents Israel, okay, pretty much as a whole. But the sinners of Israel, okay, the Israelites that ain't right, they're going to be fearful. They're going to be surprised. They're going to be afraid, when their hypocrisy is found out. Okay. And when we look around, just like if you go put yourself in this Judges chapter 3, there was Israelites that, may have gotten, put to death while they were under the captivity of these various different nations. And there were certain Israelites that made it through. But it's going to be worse in these times that we're in now, when the Lord sends Yahweh Shah back, when Jacob trouble come in full fledged. It's going to be way more death going out, different plays going out, and ultimately, the ICBMs. But who's going to be the ones that make it through that? Verse 15, he that walketh righteously and speaketh uprightly, He that despiseth the gain of oppressions, that shaketh his hands from holding of bribes, that stoppeth his ears from hearing of blood, and shutteth his eyes from seeing evil. So those are the ones that had the spirit of judgment that we're going into. All right, those are the ones that the Lord uses as a tool of salvation. All right, to Israel in the time of Judges. Okay, so going back here, Judges chapter 3, verse 5, it says, uh, and the children of Israel dwelt among the Canaanites, Hittites, and Amorites, and Perizzites, and Hivites, and Jebusites, and they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave their daughters to their sons, and served their gods. Right? So that's that word mingled. Okay? That's that word mingled. They pretty much braided themselves. They traded daughters and wives and daughters, and sons and daughters, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? And basically, like, you know, we're gonna mix in with y'all. We're gonna become you guys, and y'all gonna become us. We're gonna worship your gods. If you want to worship our God, feel free. You know, that type of spirit, right? And Deuteronomy 7:3, which I had that pulled up, you know, pretty much goes into how the Lord told us not to do that. You know what I'm saying? Right here. Neither shalt thou, Deuteronomy 7:3, neither shalt thou make marriages with them, talking about the other nations. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. Okay, so really, the Lord made this, you know, made this evident at that time, because he knew that if we was to take daughters of the other nations, it would be the same thing that happened in Genesis 6.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Taking after their gods, right? So, and that's exactly what it is. Verse 4, they will turn away thy son from following me. And that's the reason why. It's not because, oh, she's a heathen, you know, it's off because she's a heathen. No, it's because when you know, marry another heathen nation, they're more likely to turn you away. I mean, according to back then, of course, now everybody's idol worship pretty much. But back then, you know, that was more likely to happen if you were to get with a Canaanite woman and marry her. So anyway, going back to Judges 3 and verse 7, it says, and the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and forgat Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, their power, and served Balaam in the groves, which we went over already. Balaam is a plural word for Baal or Baal in the Hebrew, right? Baal means Lord or Master, which is just basically a title for, you know, the many different Baalim that was worshipped during those times. And groves is that word Asherith, and I'll get it, you know, Asharwath, if I'm not mistaken. Make sure I pronounce it right. The groves, yep. Ha Asharwath, which is the groves. It says right here Asherah, which is the singular word for Asharwath, which is plural. All right, so that's where you get Ishtar and Ashtoreth and Astarte. Okay, basically the feminine version of Baal. You know, the Queen of Heaven spirit. You know, that's nothing new. That's in the scriptures. So that's what that word groves mean when you go into it. And here's the consequence for that. Verse 8, it says, therefore, the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hand of Cushan Rishathaim. Yeah, I know. Cushan Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia, and the children of Israel served Cushan Rishathaim 8 years. Now, I want to kind of pause there and see what the commentary, if there's any good stuff on the commentary. Let's see.
Yeah, but you see how the Lord put you in a position to succeed by telling you to get rid of everybody. But Jake don't get rid of everybody, and then you see the result. You know, captivity after captivity after captivity. That's why we can say that every nation out of all the 18, it's 18 nations, 17 are heathen. You see, every nation has had us in captivity due to us going off. You see, so that's why when we say that all these heathen are gonna go get ruled with a rod of iron in the kingdom, because that's gonna be the recompense. You see. It don't matter that it happened thousands of years ago.
Right.
You got it.
Okay. This is interesting right here. That word for Mesopotamia, Strong's H73, I'm sorry, 763, Aram Naharium, which is a compound word. Aram is a nation, okay, nation of Syrians. The nation of Syria is Aram, and then Naharium. Let's see what that is. Aram of the two rivers. Nahar. Does it mean what? River? Okay. Okay. Interesting. So the commentary, but yeah, but Mesopotamia is okay. Mesopotamia is okay. That's why it says that Tigris and Euphrates. Okay. So exalted of the two rivers. Okay. Interesting. So that's what it says right there. Mesopotamia, which yeah, Mesopotamia, by the way, and it's not on this map because you got to zoom out, but Mesopotamia is over to the east. Mesopotamia is between the Tigris and the Euphrates. So because the commentary says the first invader seems to have come from Aram, which is far to the north of Palestine, but really when you go into it, Mesopotamia is actually to the east of Israel. So anyway, it was a king that came in, right, and ruled Israel over 8 years. Ruled over Israel for 8 years. All right, it says here the king of Mesopotamia. Okay, it says verse 39. I'm sorry, Judges chapter 3 verse 9. This is the first um, of the list of judges. Okay, that you could say, of course, outside of Joshua, that was mentioned. So here we go, Judges 3 and 9. And when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord raised up a deliverer to the children of Israel, who delivered them, even Othniel, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother. Right. So like the elder Yazak was saying, before we started the lesson, the Lord, kept those men in the mix until they couldn't no more. You know what I mean? Like, these men were around. I mean, Caleb was around. Caleb was around before we even, he was one of the ones that was sent to spy out the land with Joshua. He was of the two men that gave that good report of the land. You know what I'm saying? So Caleb's younger brother ended up being one of the judges. Okay, one of the first judges of Israel here. Okay, and it says in verse 10, and the spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he judged Israel and went out to war.
Now look up that word spirit.
Okay, that word spirit right here is Strong's H7307, Racha. There's a lot of definitions here.
It's one certain one I'm looking for.
Okay, spirit of the Most High, inspiring an ecstatic state of prophecy. I can also go to the definition.
There we go. Inspiring ecstatic state of prophecy.
Okay,
right?
Good.
Yeah. Imparting a warlike energy.
Oh, beautiful.
And executive and administrative power. You see? So back then, we was going to war with all those heathen, and the judges was doing their thing. You see, but imparting that warlike energy, right, as impelling prophet to utter instruction or warning, inspiring an ecstatic state of prophecy. See, all these wars were prophecies being fulfilled. You see, so when the Lord imparts that warlike energy and executive and administrative power, He's done that today through the Spirit. You see, we're in a spiritual war right now that hadn't turned physical yet. It's not going to turn physical until the Lord say so. But imparting that warlike energy, he's imparted that warlike energy on the through the Spirit on the apostles and elders and bishops. You know what I'm saying? On down to younger brothers like us. You got it.
That's right, man. Hey, it says as endowing men with various gifts, which the scriptures talk about different various gifts that the Spirit gives you the gift of prophecy, gift of tongues, you know, being able to discern, right? Of course, brotherly love, charity, so on and so forth,
Yep.
right? So,
As energy of life. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? When the Lord poured when the dry bones, Ezekiel 37, you know what I'm saying? He imparted warlike energy on the prophets, you know, spiritual war. You got it.
Con. All right, going back here, Judges 3:10. Okay, it says, and the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he judged Israel and went out to war. And the Lord and the Lord delivered Cushan Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia, into his hand. And his hand prevailed against Cushan Rishathaim. Okay. Let's see here. So you know, that was a deliverance right there. Okay. Because what happened afterwards, verse 11, and the land had rest 40 years, and Othniel, the son of Kenaz, died.
And what I'm saying, so 8 years in captivity, 40 years of rest.
Right.
You remember we talked about that word 40. We talked about that number 40. It represents a change.
Yep.
You see? So that change, that I would say after 40 years, the change was Othniel, the son of Kenaz, died, and then Israel went off again.
Yep.
You see? You got it.
Kind. All right. So we got verse 13, verse 12. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord. And the Lord strengthened Elgon, the king of Moab, against Israel. I was curious to see what this dude's name is. Elgon.
Eglon.
Eglon, Eglon, which is Aig Lawan, calf like. A Moabitist king. Yeah. Okay.
That's the fat one, right?
Yeah. It's the Buddha nigga right here.
Yeah.
Okay. A vituline is a calf, domestic cow or a bull. So basically, oh shit, okay. Damn. So basically, you know how like, bulls and cows are like wide,
Mm-hmm.
Aig Lawan, because the word Igal is a calf or a bullock. Aig Lawan is basically turns into a adjective, if you will, to describe him. You know what I'm saying? He was calf like, he was like a bull, like he was big, big and round.
Obese.
Yeah, you know what I mean? All right. So it says in verse 13, okay. Yeah, I read verse 12 already. I'll read verse 12 again. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord. And the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of the Lord. And he gathered unto him the children of Ammon and Amalek, and went and smote Israel and possessed the city of palm trees.
That's what I'm saying. So the so-called Japanese and the so-called JOOs today.
Yep. And I wonder the city of palm trees. I wonder if it's going to say something in the NLT for that. I don't want to make assumptions. Let's see what it got. Okay, Jericho. It says in the NLT, Jericho, the city of palm trees. Interesting. Which makes sense because Jericho is right there. Right there, you got to cross the Jordan River, or they might have went up the Jordan River. Because Moab, I think you got it on this map. You got Moab down here. You see, okay, but you got Ammon over here too. All right, so like they were pretty much on the eastern side, of the Dead Sea, or you could say the Jordan River, You know, so however way they went, whatever you could say they crossed or whatever. But you got Ammon up here, and Edom, which you got Amalek down here as well too. You know, pretty much they teamed up, and they you can't really see too well behind this text right here, but you can see Jericho, the city of palm trees. So they took that city because you got to remember this is before, you know, there was necessarily like a capital city per se, like how we had, you know, with Jerusalem was like pretty much was the capital during the time of Solomon and King David and further. But they took Jericho, okay, according to the NLT. Let's go back here. In King James, it says, verse 14, so the children of Israel served Eglon, the king of Moab, 18 years. So, man, so they went from 8-year captivity, and then Jake got delivered after crying to the Lord. I mean, 8 years, that's like shit. That's like 2 presidential terms. That's like during the time Obama was alive. I remember when Obama got elected, and then I remember when his second term was up, you know? Mm-hmm. And then they had that 40 years of peace. So after that, Jake was still going off. The Lord said, okay, this time I'm going to put you in captivity basically for 3 times or twice as long, you know? And so verse 15 says, but when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord raised up them a deliverer. You see? So it was because Israel did what? Cried unto the Lord. That's what we're doing right now.
Get Sirach chapter 2 right quick. Okay. 10, who had called on the Lord.
Yep. Sirach chapter 2. All right. This is Sirach chapter 2 and verse 10. Right here it says, look at the generations of old.
That's what we're doing. We're looking at the generations of old. Okay. And we seeing how the remnant dealt, and we seeing how the 2/3 dealt. Go ahead.
Come and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him?
That's what I'm saying. So the judge and those that fell in line behind the judge were delivered out of that captivity. You see? Keep going.
Yep. It says verse 11, for the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in time of affliction.
That's what I'm saying. So it went from 8 years of captivity to 18 years of captivity. You see? But it's the same concept to get out of that captivity. You know? Keep going.
Verse 12, it says, woe be to fearful hearts and faint hands, and the sinner that goeth 2 ways.
Which is what Israel was doing to get us in captivity in the first place. Mm-hmm. Read on.
Verse 13, woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not. Therefore shall he not be defended.
That's what I'm saying. So the Lord put you in captivity. He ain't gonna defend you no more if you ain't about it. You know what I'm saying?
Kind.
Now it say woe unto you that have lost patience. And what will ye do when the Lord visits you? You see? You seeing all kind of Israelite groups lose patience. When the Lord coming back? And that's the thing. They're not even smart enough to realize through the Spirit that all this reporting that we're doing on the MOTB and WW3 and all these different things is the guide to let you know. Because the Lord even told the disciples, look, it ain't for you to know the time, but this is what you need to watch for. So we watching for the things and letting us know that the Lord is closer and closer and closer.
Yep.
But Jake done lost patience, so they done got comfortable. They done got comfortable with their fringes and their Israelite parties to the point to where they like, man, look, we gonna do what we want to do. So therefore, you gonna be in captivity. You know, it says they that fear the Lord will not disobey His word. You got all these groups talking about keep the commandments. You got to keep the commandments. You got to keep. So you saying the law can't say look, all this whole bull. You see? And they that love Him will keep His ways. We keeping His ways to the best of our ability, and we also understand mercy and grace.
That's right.
If you don't have all those things in the pot, the meal ain't gonna come out right. Keep the laws to the best of your ability. Utilize your faith. Do something with your mercy. Do something with your grace period. Outside of filling your own belly. That's exactly what was happening back then. It's the same thing that's happening now. You got it. That's it on that.
Yeah, I got one to back you up on that real quick. In Luke, chapter 21 and verse 19. Okay, it says, "In your patience possess ye your souls." Okay, and patience is basically suffering. When you go into the word, Strong's G 5281. It says hippomone. It says patience, steadfastness, consistency, endurance. You see, but if you're not willing to endure, fighting the flesh, fighting that good fight. If you're not willing to resist and fight evil thoughts, and you just succumb to the flesh, then you're gonna lose every time.
Man,
right?
Read A.
Yeah, it says in the New Testament, it says the characteristic of a man who is not swerved from his deliberate purpose and his loyalty to faith and piety by even the greatest trials and sufferings.
You see that? You see that? That's what me and the elder Michael Allah was talking about. You know what I'm saying? Bro, if you're not willing to take off your hat, if you're not willing to stop doing drugs, if you're not willing to stop committing adultery, if you're not willing to get rid of your vices, you're not willing to mortify your members, you're not going to be willing to die for the Lord.
Fine. Yeah.
It just don't work like that. You see? We gotta be an acceptable sacrifice to the Lord. You know? So, like I said, if you can't take off your hat, you're not gonna be willing to die for this thing.
Yeah.
You know? There's plenty of ways to cover up a bald spot. Right?
Yep.
So I mean, it is what it is. You know? That's what I'm saying. If you're not willing to confess the name of the Lord, you're not gonna be willing to die.
Yeah.
Here it is. Bishop Nathaniel done told this whole congregation that they all gonna have to die. All the elect gonna have to die to get into the kingdom.
Damn.
He done told everybody to get ready to die. When you could easily tell them to glorify the Lord, and you might not have to. You know?
Man.
And that's very wicked. That is very wicked. You telling your whole congregation to get ready to die?
He said, damn. I mean, but what about 1 Corinthians 15 though? Being changed in a twinkling of an eye,
he ain't worried about all that. He ain't worried about all that. Yeah. That's what but that's what I'm saying. He's one of those Israelites that's gonna go into captivity.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? During the time of Judges, that's what he was doing back then.
Yeah.
Mingling with the heathen. 501c3 in it.
Yep. Man.
You know?
Yeah, that's right. Making pacts. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But when you read this, it says a man who is not swerved from his deliberate purpose. Our deliberate purpose is to glorify Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai and gather the elect through the Spirit. We're not straying from that, Lord willing. We endure to the end. But as of right now, feet planted, toes in the ground, all that.
Yep.
You know, which would qualify us to be the judges of today. You got it.
That's right.
It says and piety by even the greatest trials and sufferings. Right. You see?
Yep.
You telling your whole congregation get ready to die. Some of us are. Some of us are gonna die in this thing. But not everybody, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you say that?
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
These dudes something else, man.
Yeah. So going back to this Judges 15, Judges chapter 3, verse 15. But when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, raised them up a deliverer.
Mm-hmm.
Ehud, the son of Gera, a Benjaminite, a man left-handed. Something about them left-handed Benjamites, man. They got that accuracy, you know. It says, and by him, uh, the children of Israel sent a present unto Eglon, the king of Moab.
Pull that word deliverer right quick, Baba Kashaw.
Okay. Uh, uh, a deliverer. Yep. Ma washayai. Um, the root word here is Strong's H3467. Yeshai. Okay. Which is to save, savior, deliverer. There's more. It says to be saved, to be delivered, to be liberated, to be saved in battle, to be victorious, to save from moral troubles,
Man,
to
that's
give
heavy.
victory to. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, he raised up a deliverer every time we called on him. You see, and all that applies, right? To save from moral troubles. You know what I'm saying? You keep the laws to the best of your ability. You let mercy and grace take care of the rest, man.
You know what just clicked in my head, Zaquan, is you know, every time the judge will pass, Jake will go back to the wickedness. But who
Mm-hmm.
is the ultimate savior? Well, the root word of Yahushai, is a compound word, I'll say. Yah, which is he, and then Hawashai is deliverer. Um, and then also this word here, Yeshai, is basically the verb of that, which is to save, right? So Yahushua really, he's the ultimate judge, because these judges here, they couldn't deliver Israel eternally from going off. You
Right.
know, they would judge and save from the troubles of that time. They would liberate them for a time, but Jake will continually go off, and to the point where it don't matter. It wouldn't matter how many the Lord could send 1,000 judges. We still wouldn't be perfect, at the end of the day, because we still, have these stony hearts. We still have this, flesh that we got to deal with. And the only way to be delivered from that is through the blood of Yahweh Shai. He's the one that frees us from that. Okay. Rescues us from death,
Right.
So, I also wanted to get that term left-handed, see if there was any juice in there. Yad, Atar, left-handed, bound, impeded. Use of the right hand. A man bound, restricted. I have to do some more research. Interesting. Okay, going back here to verse 16. It says, but Ehud made him a dagger, which had two edges of a cubit length. And we didn't get his name. Let's get Ehud's name. Let's get that real quick. Ahawad, Strong's H 16164. Ahawad. I will give thanks. Okay. Undivided union. See, Benjamin Judge. Okay. Ahawad. Ahad is united. Okay. Interesting. So undivided, I'll say probably undivided is probably the best one to go with. Undivided or union with the definition. Anyway, it says verse 16, but Ehud made him a dagger which had 2 edges of a cubit length, and he did gird it under his raiment upon his right thigh. On some what's that video game? Assassin's Creed, you know what I'm saying? Some Assassin's Creed shit, man. Righteous. You know, Assassin's Creed, man. You know, it says in verse 17, and he brought the present unto Eglon, king of Moab, and Eglon was a very fat man. Okay, remember his name literally means calf-like. He was like a bull. He was like a cow. He was fat, right? And so it says in verse 18, and when he had made an end to offer the present, he sent away the people that bear the present, right? So he basically paid his taxes, right? You get, whatever present it was, you know what I mean? When you are in a subservient position, to a ruler, you got to bear them gifts. That's part of it. But in the kingdom is going to be the other way around. They're going to be bearing us gifts, you see, and they're not going to be able to pull this situation like how Ehud is about to pull right here against us in the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? They ain't going to be able to rebel against us because there's going to be, everything going to be locked down, right? But it says in verse 19, but he himself turned again from the quarries that were by Gilgal and said, I have a secret errand unto thee, O king, who said, keep silence. And all that stood by went out for him. So I think this would be good to read in the NLT real quick, just to, so I don't got to ramble on for 2 hours. Okay, Judges 3:19. Okay, it says, but when Ehud reached the stone idols near Gilgal, he turned back. He came to Eglon and said, I have a secret message for you. So the king commanded his servants, be quiet, and he sent them all out of the room. Okay, it says in verse 20, Ehud walked over to Eglon, who was sitting alone in a cool upstairs room. And Ehud said, I have a message. I have a message from God for you. And as the king Eglon rose from his seat, Ehud reached with his left hand, pulled out the dagger strapped to his right thigh, and plunged it into the king's belly. Okay, so basically, Ehud finessed Eglon. He was like, "Yeah, I got this message, man. I got this message from God for you, man. After he made everybody leave, see, but that was all spiritual. He didn't know how it was going to go. You know what I'm saying? But the Lord put the spirit on Eglon to command everybody to get out the room, right? Because his heart was merry because just got that present. He thought that Ehud was on his side, and then he was able to get close to the king, right? And it says he stabbed him in the stomach. Okay, it says in verse 22, the dagger went so deep that the handle disappeared beneath the king's fat. So he had all type of rolls. I mean, we talking about this is a big Buddha stomach, ammonite, right? That how when you got them rolls, you can hide shit underneath. So he stabbed his ass so because it says a cubit. A big,
Moab.
I'm sorry. Oh, he's Moab. I'm sorry, Salakia.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, Eglon, the Moabite king. He had basically rolls of fat. And so it says the handle disappeared beneath the king's fat. So Ehud did not pull out the dagger, and the king's bowels emptied. Right. So basically he shit himself. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
And it says, because he's fat, you know what I mean? So he probably was always eating, you know what I'm saying? Always using the bathroom. It says even in the King James version, even in the King James version, right? It says the dirt. Yeah, and the dirt came out. What color is dirt? Right. I'll read verse 22 in the King James. It says, and the haft also went, and the fat closed upon the blade, so that he could not draw the dagger out of his belly, and the dirt came out, right? Which we get that, you know what I'm saying? That's probably the last thing he expected, you know? Let's see if that word, if it, I mean, it only, yeah, feces, excrement, right? Strong's H6574. I never really knew that until recently, you know, just heard dirt, like you thought it was just blood. No, he basically, you know, he basically shit himself, right? When you go into it. And so it says, I'll continue in the King James. It says, then Ehud went forth through the porch and shut the doors of the parlor upon him and locked them. So he dipped up out of there after he you know, he left that dagger in his ass and he left him there to die, right? And verse 24 says, when he was gone out, his servants came, and when they saw that, behold, the doors of the parlor were locked, they said, surely he covereth his feet in his summer chamber. You know, basically, when you look into that, covereth his feet. You know, when you use the bathroom, when you do a number two, you got to sit down on the toilet or whatever on the pot. You know, you pull your pants down, your feet are covered. So that's the terminology, meaning, you know, he was using the bathroom. They thought, okay, well, damn, you know, he locked the doors, you know, to his to his parlor. Maybe, you know, maybe he's just taking the shit, right? And so it says in verse 25.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you gotta paint the picture, man. He was fat, so you know he was always using the bathroom, probably bloated and shit, right? So verse 25, but it was all spiritual because that gave Ehud time to escape, right? Right. So it says verse 25, and they tarried till they were ashamed, meaning like, man, damn, man, well, nobody's gonna be in the toilet for 2 hours or however long it was. And it says, and behold, he opened not the doors of the parlor. Therefore, they took a key and opened the doors. And behold, their Lord was fallen down dead on the earth. You know, so you can imagine the Moabites all probably bugged out, like, damn, man. Yeah, you know what I mean? Looking all crazy. A meme just popped up in my head, but I ain't gonna, I'll share. All right. This is Strong's. I'm sorry. This is Judges chapter 3 and verse 26. Okay, it says, and Ehud escaped while they tarried, while Eglon's servants were waiting, you know, for him to basically hypothetically finish the bathroom. Ehud had time to escape. He passed beyond the quarries. Basically, he was able to go all the way out of the city, and he escaped unto the city called Sirath. All right. It says, and it came to pass when he was come that he blew a trumpet in the mount of Ephraim, and the children of Israel went down with him from the mount, and he before them. Right. So he sounded the alarm, let Israel know the king is dead. Right. And this is a big deal because, I mean, you got to remember, he was ruling over Israel for 18 years. You know what I mean? And it says in verse 28, and he said unto them, follow after me, for the Lord hath delivered your enemies, the Moabites, into your hand. And they went down after him and took the fords of Jordan toward Moab, and suffered not a man to pass over. Okay, so my assessment was pretty much on, because if you look at Moab, okay, the Jordan River, go kind of finish the tails out down here, but this is like the main passageway. You can cross over the Salt Sea or on boat or whatnot, but it would be easier to pass an army just over the Jordan River, and pretty much you had the Moabites, that would cross over here through the Jordan River, right? And there was a ford is I'll just get the word real quick. Where is it at? Starting to get cross-eyed. There we go. Fords. Fords right here. It's basically like a stronghold on the water. Strong's H4569. My bar. Okay. Oh, well, that's the spirit. I bar, to pass over, to cross over, to travel through. My at the beginning of the word kind of changes it to of or from whatever the subject is. So in this sense, it would be a forward passing, a transit, okay, a place of passage. You can say that place of
Right, and,
passage.
and strategically, for
Yeah.
the for him to be a just killed the king, it makes sense to go the shortest route.
Yep.
So to back up what you were saying, as far as going over the going through the Jordan, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying, versus the Dead Sea.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you got to remember, like I said, you had, this is basically like highways on the over here in this area. You know what I'm saying? This was, frequently traveled. If you wanted to cross over, you know, you had to pass through basically a ford, you know what I'm saying, a fortified whatever, and they probably had a little tax, you know what I'm saying, like the tollway, you know what I'm saying, in order to cross over. Well, the Moabites didn't have control over that no more. Israel got control back over that. So that lets you know that the power kind of switched over back to them, right? It says, and they suffered not a man to pass over, meaning like the Moabites couldn't come over and try to infiltrate Israel and do that. Nah, they had, the Lord allowed Israel to get control over the fords and subdue Moab. Okay. And verse 29 says, and they slew of Moab at that time about 10,000 men. All right, all lusty and men of valor, and there escaped not a man. Yeah. So basically, they pretty much trapped the Moabites that was in. These maps help me think sometimes. Aquan Salakia. They basically trapped.
Hey, that's our history.
God.
Yeah, that's our history. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, if the map is what turned you off, then hey, it is what it is. But we need to know all these things, man.
Yeah.
You got to know geography. You got to know the history. You got to know all those so-called courses they taught you in school. They use maps to be able to establish a point. You see, so hey, we got to knock down all them strongholds, man. You got to know about these maps, man. I remember the Great Millstone, GMS homework and all that maps, going into the Hebrew, going into the Latin, going to the Greek. All of that is a part of it, you know.
God, yeah. Well, because if you think about it, like, okay, if you got the stronghold here, and you don't let nobody cross over on either side, whatever Moabites was on this side, you basically trapped. You can't go back into your country over here. You know what I'm saying? So you stuck. You know what I'm saying? Israel had this blocked off. You know what I'm saying? And they just killed all the Moabites that was in here. You know what I'm saying? Because they couldn't flee. They couldn't go cross back over here to Moab. So they was out of there. So that's pretty much the understanding on that. And I think you see, it says there escaped not a man. So they killed all the Moabites. And verse 30, it says, so Moab, and Moab again for reference is so-called Chinese, right? It says, so Moab was subdued that day under the hand of Israel, and the land had rest 80 years. So that's 80 years, because a score is 20. So 4 times 20 is 80. So, that was a great deliverance right there. And the last
That's
verse.
what I'm saying. You see how the captivity was longer, but then the rest was longer.
Mm-hmm.
You see? So that lets you know. That lets you know how the Lord is dealing. You see, the longer you do wickedness, the longer you're gonna be in captivity.
Yeah, basically.
The longer you hearken, the longer you're gonna be at rest. You know what I'm saying? 18 years of captivity to 80 years of rest. Jake still messed it up.
Man. Yeah, after that generation, they probably forgot all about Ehud and all that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you think about it like this, we in captivity now, we gotta search. I mean, you know, we got access to the Bible now, but you know what I mean? Like, imagine all the generations of Israelites that passed that didn't know about these stories. Like, you know, that while Esau had us in chattel slavery, you know what I'm saying, the 18, 17, 1600s and
Yep, that was
1500s.
during the falling away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When Paul was like, it's gonna have to be a falling away first. You know what I'm saying? So during that time, you had all those crucifying Israelites that was being on them ships and that whole situation, the chattel slavery. You know what I'm saying? And then by the time the Lord put the spirit on High Priest Elder Abba, you know, before that it was just our judgment.
Man. Yeah, Khan. Basically, you said it, Khan. You know, so the last judge that's mentioned here is Shamgar. Okay. It says in verse 31, and after him was Shamgar, the son of Anath, which slew of the Philistines 600 men with an ox goad, and he also delivered Israel. So basically, you know about Samson. Samson killed 1,000 men in one day. You know what I'm saying? 1,000 Philistines. Well, Shamgar slew 600 men with the ox goad, which is let's look up what is an ox goad real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Look it up. Look it up.
Look it up, nigga. Oh.
Let's get an image of it real quick. What the hell's going on here? Okay, ox goad. Yeah, here we go, right here. An ox goad. I don't know if y'all can see this, but that's what an ox goad looks like. So basically, a low-level weapon, like a little pick thing. A little.
Yeah, it kind of looked like the a sickle.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here we go. They got a picture right here. Shamgar and the ox goad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Basically, yeah, like you said, a sickle, like a small one, you know. Hey, well, because what did Yahushua say to Paul when he was on the way to Damascus? You know, why kick us against the pricks? You know what I'm saying? That's basically a goad, ox goad. I'm in the NLT.
Yeah.
AJ. Here we go. Acts chapter 9. Yeah. Acts chapter 9 and 5. And this is the words of Yahushua. It says, and he said, who art thou? This is Paul right here in the first part. It says, and he said, who art thou, Lord? And the Lord said, this is Yahushua speaking, I am Yahushua, whom thou persecutest. It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. Now let's go into that word pricks real quick, because this is an agricultural term. A lot of these agricultural terms are a little bit removed from us because we got this, we ain't seen a cow in 10 years. You know what I mean? We don't really deal with agriculture directly like that.
Shit, I would say the only time we'll see a cow now is when we on a road trip.
Man,
you know what I'm saying? When you driving by, especially in Texas, you see a whole lot of it. Yeah. And then if Jake ain't taking road trips like that, when you go to Fuel City and get them tacos, you see them bulls and them cows that they got in the back.
Yeah, got them up in the back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but as close as you gonna get to what is driving by it.
Yep. There we go. That word pricks is Strong's G2749. Ketron. Okay. A sting. An iron goad. This is what I'm looking for right here. This is the Greek, by the way, so it's a different word. But it says an iron goad for urging on oxen, horses, and other beasts of burden. Okay, hence the proverb to kick against the goad, which means to offer vain or perilous, to offer vain and perilous or ruinous resistance.
Man, you get your ass killed.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but a goad, like that's a term, kick against the pricks, kick against the goad. A goad is like a little stabby thing, to get the ox to know, all right, to prod to prod the ox in the direction that you want.
Oh, there you go, right there. Scroll back up right here. It's boom.
This
you see
deal.
it? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That gold. Damn Pinterest, man. It shit didn't used to be this hard just to see a picture, but
yeah, it's hard to kick against the pricks.
Yeah, that's the prick right there. You know, the gold, just a pokey thing, and basically, Shamgar, he killed 600 Philistines with that, man. 600 Hamites. Okay, and he delivered Israel in a,
and that's how the Lord established it. That's what made. I would say because we was in captivity. You see,
Yeah.
So the Lord put the spirit on Shamgar to do that. And that's what made the people follow him.
Yep.
Man,
you know what? Shamgar. Let's see. Name, Sham, and then Gar is like foreigner, right? Let's see what his name means. Shamgar. Did I miss it? My bad. Here we go. Yeah, Strong's H8044. Shamgar, sword. Okay, man, that's your pop. The son of a knot. Okay, damn. Yeah, so we turned that gold into a sword, basically. Damn, that's dope. That's dope. Hey, that's a nomen omen for your ass.
Man, I want to say he turned his what do you say? He turned his what is it? Turning your agricultural tools into weapons.
Yep. He beat his plowshare into a sword.
Yep.
Yep. So that's the end of the chapter right there. Let's see what we got on the comment board, if anything. Let's see. Okay, that was a little bit earlier. Yep. Yeah, we're gonna go into that. Gonna be other opportunities to go into that. Yep. Good stuff, brothers. Yep. That's a good one. Yeah, that's pretty much it, Zaquan. You know what I'm saying? From what I see on the comment board. So it's been an hour. So we're gonna go ahead and close out there. And we'll continue on next week, Lord willing, with chapter 4. All right. So with that, Abaratazah, this was edifying lesson. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachakudash. Double honors to the apostles and others, a great millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.
Shalom.